Charles, are Dems declaring war on the president, and what's that mean to Wall Street?
They've already declared war. And well, listen, there's going to be a lot of collateral damage. Wall Street's going to get hit, but the general public's going to get hit even more. And I'm telling you, we saw it this week already, the attack on the oil companies. But it's not going to just be the oil companies. We know drug companies, any company where the CEO is making too much money. It's just an attack on capitalism, and the stock market will pay a price for it. But ultimately, consumers and the American public will pay the biggest price.
Well, Gary B., we do have a Republican president who does have a veto pen, and if he uses it, nothing may get done. Doesn't Wall Street like that?
Absolutely, Brenda. I think I disagree with Charles on this. I think the market's going to do fine. Look, I'm sure President Bush will present a very strong face to his policies and where he wants it. I'm sure Webb will also present a very strong face. I think the more the Democrats can tip their hand and show that they either have no policy or bad policies, I think that's good. That's going to open up vigorous debate. And that's probably going to lead people to think that there's going to be a lot of deadlock coming up, exactly as you imply with that veto. And I think that's good for the market.
Peter, war in Washington, what's it mean to Wall Street?
Well, I definitely think that confrontation is probably better than cooperation, because I think the more that they do, the more damage they're likely to do. And I think the market is going to do what it's going to do regardless of what's said. You know, the market's been going up, but it's been ignoring some powerful fundamentals that really should have the market going down.
All right. Okay, we'll get into that in a minute. But Toby, this isn't exactly a Fox News alert. Dems and Republicans duke it out in Washington. It's been going on forever.
Yeah.
What's it mean?
What would Patrick do? You know, gosh almighty. Look, Wall Street has discounted the Iraq war into zero. And basically, it's thrown it out. It's a lost cause. That's what Wall Street thinks. In terms of Jim Webb, you know, God bless him. He's a wonderful American. He's a man who's fought for our country. But he is way off in left field. And for them to choose them, I think, again, this goes to sort of polarizing the Republican base, which is a little confused right now, number one. Number two, as Patrick would say, we have earnings seasons now. We have the Fed. That's going to be much more important than what these jokers say after this meeting, both sides of them. I'm discussing with both of them.
Nation, all right, Scott. But, you know, during the very bitter battle for the election in November, stocks went nowhere but up.
Well, think about this. Since the Iraq War, the unpopular Iraq War, and the time that the media has been at war with Bush, the market has done nothing but go up. During the elections, when the Democrats really waged war against the president, the market went up. And now that they are in office, the market's probably still going to go up. And think about this. They have Webb lining up to talk against the president. This is the guy who's going to inflict class warfare against the United States people in order to win the election in 2008.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
Okay.
The market has ignored it.
When you say stocks are going to be a casualty, how hard do you expect them to be?
No, I think initially stocks will be a casualty. Overall, I think stocks, I disagree. I think the fundamentals for the stock market are great. But here's the deal. We're talking about things that Dems were doing before they had power, before they had 70, 80% opinion on their side on almost every topic. They're coming at the president very hard. The only thing that will hold them back is maybe thinking that they're going to sacrifice the White House. They're going to fight themselves over just how left-leaning they're going to be and how hard it's going to take the restraint from destroying this country and our capitalistic system. I don't know if they can do it.
It's a split government. It's really a split
Jerry B., what do you say?
Well, I want to go back to a good point that Toby made. I think having Jim Webb give the rebuttal, assuming people actually watch it, is a great thing for President Bush and the Republicans. If that's the face, you know, that's going to be shown to the people as the Democrats, a man who, forget about his policy, I think just disrespects the office of the presidency. I think that's actually good for the current administration.
Tobin, if we had put more of a spotlight on the Dems, is that ultimately good for Wall Street and the Republicans?
Well, you know, we're at this new thing for the Dems. They haven't had power in so many years. You know, they're trying to figure this thing out. And I think this Jim Webb is a bad decision. I think some other decisions they're making already are starting to turn the tide against them. Boy, if I was a strategist, I would say, let's put our best face forward right now and really get something done. The 100 hours is over, and now we have serious problems, and we need serious answers, and they better put answers on the table.
But didn't the market get hit pretty bad during that 100 hours?
Well, that's true. All right, but there was some
Peter,
other stuff
you might argue that it was hit hard for other reasons that may continue.
Sure. I mean, I think the market is ignoring some very powerful negative fundamentals. You know, and hopefully maybe Bush will find where he left that veto pen now that the Democrats are there. It'd be nice to actually see him use it. But I think when the market does turn down, it's not going to be because of what Bush says or what Congress does. It's going to be because of other fundamental issues that are far more important.
Well, there is one huge issue that Wall Street is watching, and that is the continuation of President Bush's tax cuts, which may get caught as well.
It's locked in.
till 2010. I think the market is expecting those to go away. But this is the kind of standoff leading up to the next presidential election that the market loves. They want to see these guys go at it and get nothing done. And that's probably what's going to happen. The Democrats will try to put forward an anti-business agenda, and it just won't get traction because people know that the economy is good. The stock market is good, and you can't argue with the numbers.
But you know, it's interesting. Everyone's saying that there were other things this week.
Hold on.
Everyone's saying there were other things this week. The other thing was Ben Bernanke saying, you know what, things are bad around the corner. What did he talk about? Social Security. When Bush talked about it a year ago, his popularity went down.
And he got no traction.
Right, but now we're starting to realize that, you know what, we can't just have nothing happened in Washington for years on end.
Hold on. But you know, the deficit has been an issue for how long, Gary B? And is Wall Street really watching it now?
No, I don't think so, and I don't think it was paying attention to Bernanke this week. I think it was paying attention to one thing. It was paying attention to the Apple earnings and what they announced going forward, and technology. That dragged down the market. Bernanke and those guys, they're on tap for next week and weeks to come. Not this.
Yeah, Bernanke was discounted 13 seconds after he said it. Sorry,
and he's talking about entitlements, and the entitlements are going to be a problem.
I hope I live long enough.
Brenda.
But Peter, we are going to see again and again in the headlines what the Democrats want, not anymore what the Republicans want.
Sure. Well, what they want is some pretty scary stuff, and we've got to be very careful about the message that we send to our foreign creditors. You know, you talked about the deficit. The big difference now is it's being financed by foreign central banks. You know, we're on our last leg here, and once they stop buying our bonds, you know, who else is going to buy it?
They're buying our bonds because they're the same.
What's different between today, 5 years ago, and 10 years ago?
If they were safe, they wouldn't have to buy them. It would be private demand for them.
Charles, come on. Cheers up.
Cheers up.
Last word, guys.
Cheers up. At the end of the day, capitalism wins. That means the GOP wins. But it's going to be tough sledding. I think this week was a proxy for what could happen periodically during the next 2 years.
All right. Last word for the trading pit, but not on this topic. The war in Washington and how it could mean higher taxes for you. That's on Your World. Weekdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. The Bulls and Bears there every Tuesday. You know, Neil's just counting the days. All right. Putting their money where their mouths are. What are the next stocks the Bulls and Bears are going to buy with their own money? Let's open the stock exchange. All right, Charles, starting with you. Name the one at the very top of your buy list.
Hanson Natural, H-A-N-S. It's former high flyer. It's been grounded. But you know what? This is an interesting stock. Right now it's being held back because they've had some issues with filings. And I love when stocks are down on those type of events because it's going to be taken care of. And I think this stock's going to take off again.
Okay, Scott?
It's not down that far. It is one of the best performing stocks. They have great products, but the stock is now priced that Pepsi's going to buy them. And if Pepsi doesn't buy them, the stock's going to get cut in half.
Okay, and I forgot a happy birthday to you, Scott.
Why, thank you, Brenda.
All right, and your
He's
gift.
good looking for 62. I mean, unbelievable.
I like AMD. Expectations are low. They disappointed. Everybody hates them and technology. They recently bought a chip maker, ATI, for graphics cards. There is a huge upgrade cycle coming, and I think with low expectations, the stock has excellent upside.
Had a real tough week. What do you think, Peter? Did the birthday boy do a good job here?
No, if the expectations are low, they're not low enough. This stock, this is the bull market from the 1990s. You don't want to be back in the tech stocks. You want to look at the current bull market.
Peter, where do you want to be then? What is your stock?
Well, my stock is Goldfields, GFI. It's a South African stock with an ADR here. You know, back in 2000, when AMD was in the 40s, Goldfield was $3. Now they're both at 17. So you can see where the bull market is. It's not in tech. Gold looks really good right now. I think it's held up very well with the drop in crude.
And you own a lot of it, right? Yes.
Yeah, I own a lot of it.
All right. And Gary B., should he?
Well, no, it's horrible. I don't know what he's talking about. Gold, maybe gold has held up well, but the stock is breaking. Look, this is a doomsday stock. If you believe like Peter that doomsday is near, then you buy this one. This one though is breaking down. I think the chart is telling you that things look pretty good right now.
Okay, what looks good to you, Gary B? What's your stock?
Comcast, Brenda, this is a stock I like for a long time. And I'll tell you what, it was seeing the chart here. It's really got nothing for about the last 6 or 7 years. Made a big bull there. I'll tell you what, it's about to break out. This thing pops over 50. This is going to fly. They are dominating every facet they're in right now. I love it.
Tobin?
God, you took it out of my mouth. You must have loved it for 6 years, for crying out loud. I hope it goes up, because maybe you'll make 10% a year out of it if this thing keeps going.
All right, and Tobin, what should they all be buying?
All right, Advantage Energy, AAV. Now, here's the story. This is a almost 18% yield, almost 2% a month in most tax-free return, and the Canadian government is going to extend the life of these things. They screwed them up in October. They're going to bail them out now.
And you own it?
Yes, I do.
Charles, should he?
No, absolutely not. I don't know. You know, listen, I think you're getting cute here. You know, if you want to be in the space, buy some energy stocks. Buy Smith International, Valero. You know, the stock is falling apart. And Gary B will tell you the chart looks terrible.
All right. Thanks, guys. Someone here says a housing crash is coming, and it's going to take down a lot more than home prices. The fallout in predictions. Next. We've got predictions. Peter, you're up.
Well, I think Wall Street is dramatically underestimating the impact of the bursting of the housing bubble. I think a lot of people think that buyers are going to emerge in the springtime and turn the market. I think it's just going to be sellers that show up.
All right, Tobin, what do you think of that?
Peter, I made the worst call last week saying Apple was going up. You take the crown. You now have the worst call of the year. The Fed will cut rates. It'll never happen.
All right, Charles, your prediction.
Actually, Peter won the Darth Vader award, but anyway, I really think, listen, here's a few things. Jordan wants a nuke. China's shooting off rockets, and I actually saw a snowflake in New Jersey this week. I think oil's going to go back up. 55 is resistance through there. It goes to 60 maybe by March.
Scott, which way you go? We think it's going.
One-way traders are taking it below 50. They'll probably take it to 40 first. Then you'll see.
And your prediction?
Surf Technology makes the chips that go into GPS products and cell phones. You want to keep your kids safe. You get chips in their
going up 50%.
Yeah,
Gary B, what do you think?
Kids may be safe. The stock, unfortunately, is not safe. I think it's going back below $20, in fact.
And what do you like, Gary B?
DNA, Brendan. 2007 is the year of biotech. You're
waiting for decades for that.
Right after the housing crashes, put your money in biotech. It's up by 50%.
Tobin, what do you think of that?
It's been the year since 1985. Yes. So finally, I'm sure that it's not this year.
And what is your prediction, Tobin?
Hey, listen, this whole idle thing has gone wild, and AT&T is getting money every time you call in and every time you text in. I think AT&T, with their new singular being all rolled in, it's up 20% here.
Charles?
I just wish you would have told us 3 years ago.
I was late. I was busy. I couldn't
Tobin, come on. I want you to sing your prediction. We know you belong on American Idol.
The money's going away with our houses down the bay.
Gary B, what do you
Well, I'd like Toby to move out of the A's. Apple last week, AT&T. Move on to a different letter, man, will you?
And Simon, what do you say to that?
Wait a minute. I'm not Simon. Pat's Simon.
Just put a T-shirt on you when you're
before.
there. Okay, we know the real star of Fox News Channel. It's Neil Cavuto. He is up next. Cavuto on Business.